Well, few economic sectors are more global than agriculture. Oklahoma exports more than a third of what it produces on the farm, but the global economy is a two-way street with goods and capital going both ways. And nowhere is that more true than with China. With the harsh political rhetoric this past year on the campaign trail, it's easy to view that country as a rival of the U.S. But some economists are looking behind the macro numbers and looking at what's really going on in this economic powerhouse, and what they see is an opportunity. Here's our Blaine Singletary.
When talking about what's big in the global economy, there's one country you can't leave out.
There's no doubt a lot going on in China, and I think that's why I spent 10 years there, because just the pace and movement of that economy and the people is unbelievable, and it's on a global scale.
Brady Sidwell is the president of Enterprise Grain Company and also runs Sidwell Strategies and Sidwell Seed. Before coming back home to farm in Oklahoma, he spent years in China, right in the thick of that country's growing agriculture industry.
We're actually a lot more similar to people in China than we both probably think, you know.
And while China might have become something of a four-letter word on the campaign trail, well, okay, 5 letters, Sidwell says farmers should look at it as a potential big business opportunity, and a relationship we should start fostering now.
You know, I think relationships are very key in that market. All the students that we have here at Oklahoma State University that are here from China and studying agriculture in China, and being able to, build those bridges at this point in time.
This despite the fact that China's economic growth might be slowing down. It was booming in the mid-2000s with 14.2 GDP growth in fiscal year 2007. 10 years later, that slowed to 6.2. But according to Sidwell, it's not the numbers you should be focusing on, it's the people.
The movement of people from the rural areas in China is moving into the middle class, which is magnitude of 27 million people every year. These new consumers, that's really where the opportunity is.
China has over 1/5 of the world's population, but only 7% of the world's arable land. That means there's huge demand for agricultural exports. The Chinese word for America is Mei Guo, which literally translates to beautiful country. And when you look at our vast open land, perfect for farming, it's easy to see why.
We are good at production agriculture, and we're trying to find markets where we can have long-term sustainable development. And the Chinese are actually very fond of Americans and of this country and of the quality that we're able to produce.
The Chinese consumer is developing a lot faster than Chinese agriculture is. It's a great export opportunity, but one we have to move forward with cautiously. Chinese companies have bought out large stakes in Australian cattle companies, for example. And while they've been known to steal trade secrets, they're way more than capable enough to buy them.
I think we do have to be careful. I mean, there's a lot of technology that we have here that allows us to be one of the most productive agriculture, countries and states in the world.
The relationship between the U.S. and China is a complex one, and it's likely to stay that way at a federal level. But perhaps the solution is right here at home.
From a state-to-state level, and company-to-company level, and student-to-student level within our state, I think there's a lot of scope to be able to build relationships that will help us promote trade and business while, of course, the national conversation continues to evolve.
The key to a successful relationship with China is the same one for any relationship, recognizing the unique things each of us can bring to the table.
In the end, I mean, do the Chinese want to take technology back to their country? Absolutely, they do. But one thing that they cannot replicate is, our land and our resources and our work ethic and love for this business.
Well, last week we told you how the rise in Chinese manufacturing has caused havoc with America's manufacturing economy. And if you'd like to learn more about the pros and cons of free trade, just look for that under our value-added section at okhorizon.com.